People's Armed Forces, General Park Yong-sik addressed the meeting. He reaffirmed the resolve to respond to any provocative actions. He said the DPRK is fully prepared to launch nuclear attacks anytime. The defense minister also blamed the U.S. for escalating tensions. The DPRK has a tradition of showcasing its military capability on significant dates. Monday's meeting comes amid speculation that DPRK might conduct another nuclear test or launch an intercontinental ballistic missile for the first time. Reported to have been overseen by leader Kim Jong-un, was conducted around the port city of Wonsan. A central work report meeting has also been held in Pyongyang on Monday to mark the anniversary. The Minister of the People's Armed Forces, General Park Yong-sik, reaffirmed Pyongyang's resolve to respond to any proactive actions. He says, while addressing the meeting, that the DPRK is fully prepared to launch nuclear attacks anytime. The defense minister also blamed the U.S. for escalating tensions.
As North Koreans laid flowers in the capital, marking the 85th anniversary of their army, across the country to the east, a large artillery live-fire drill was held. But this show of force was not on the scale of what was anticipated, another ballistic missile test or even a nuclear test. But it did little to ease the mounting tension on the Korean peninsula. North Korea has threatened to sink the American aircraft carrier USS Carl Vinson as its strike group steams toward the region. This as the U.S. Navy holds simultaneous exercises with Japanese and South Korean Navy vessels near the Korean peninsula. They'll continue through Wednesday. Also on Tuesday, officials held talks in Tokyo to discuss North Korea.
Japan, the United States, and the Republic of Korea agreed that it is necessary to make North Korea understand that such provocations would only invite strong reactions from the international community.
The three nations agreed that China's involvement is critical in dealing with North Korea's actions and that more pressure needs to be applied. Japan also said that Russia needs to do more. And in China, a day after President Xi Jinping and President Trump had a phone conversation about North Korea, a change of tone in the media. There was the usual call for restraint, but not for a peaceful resolution, a shift of rhetoric in China, North Korea's most important ally. On Friday, the situation on the Korean peninsula will continue to garner global attention. It will be discussed at the UN Security Council, and on the same day, there will be a ministerial-level meeting in Washington, where leaders from the region will discuss what they have called a global threat. Scott Heidler, Al Jazeera, Tokyo.
The nuclear-powered aircraft carrier, the USS Carl Vinson, together with its strike group, steamed toward waters near the Korean peninsula this week, as Washington increases military pressure on North Korea to refrain from a much-anticipated sixth nuclear test. Meanwhile, in Tokyo, the U.S., South Korean, and Japanese envoys for North Korea found consensus on actions against Pyongyang.
We strongly warn North Korea to stop any further strategic provocations. If North Korea forcibly goes ahead despite our warnings, we've agreed to take strong punitive measures that North Korea would not be able to endure. To enhance the effectiveness of pressure on North Korea, we've agreed that the most important thing is to cooperate with China and Russia.
China and Russia both favor dialogue over the provocative strategies employed by Washington. The U.S. also dispatched a nuclear-powered submarine, which made port in Busan. South Korea and the United States are currently conducting annual large-scale drills and discussing further exercises involving U.S. strategic naval assets. Still, many analysts view increased U.S. militarization as counterproductive, and a unilateral American military strike against North Korea as highly unlikely.
The South Korea-U.S. Mutual Defense Treaty stipulates that the U.S. consult South Korea before attacking North Korea. No such consultation is going on. In addition, the U.S. should first transport nearly 300,000 American troops and their families, business people, and students out of the country and suspend U.S. investments in South Korea. But there is no sign of such actions.
Meanwhile, North Korea celebrated the 85th anniversary of the Korean People's Army and conducted large-scale live-fire drills near the east coast city of Wonsan. As American military pressure mounts on North Korea, so do Washington's diplomatic efforts. On Friday, U.S. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson will chair a special meeting of the United Nations Security Council to discuss strategies to get North Korea to abandon its nuclear weapons and missile programs, and to urge members to more strictly enforce existing sanctions against North Korea. Frank Smith, Press TV, Seoul.
Korea, the rogue nation, reportedly launching a massive military drill overnight as President Trump calls the entire Senate for a briefing at the White House. Kelly Wright live in studio with overnight developments on that. Good morning, Kelly.
Good morning to you as well. The status quo is unacceptable. That's what President Donald Trump says about the way the international community is dealing with the escalating tensions with the rogue nation. North Korea is planning to conduct its 6th nuclear test today to mark its anniversary of its military armed forces. Now, the U.S. believes the regime is trying to develop a nuclear weapon capable of reaching the U.S. Adding to this tension, the country has detained a 3rd U.S. citizen. President Trump is planning to meet with the entire U.S. Senate on Wednesday, all 100 members, at the White House for a briefing. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson, Secretary of Defense Jim Mattis, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff General Joseph Dunford, and Director of National Intelligence Dan Coats will all be there to update the senators on the situation taking place in North Korea. Also, the president is urging the UN to impose stronger sanctions on the North.
This is a real threat to the world, whether we want to talk about it or not. North Korea is a big world problem, and it's a problem we have to finally solve. People have put blindfolds on for decades, and now it's time to solve the problem.
Plus, in a show of U.S. military force, the USS Michigan, a nuclear-powered submarine, is now docked at a South Korean port. U.S. Ambassador to the UN, Nikki Haley, says the United States and China are partnering for the first time to develop a strategy that might curb North Korea's nuclear appetite to denuclearize it. Meantime, she issued a stern warning to North Korea.
The United States is not looking for a fight, so don't give us a reason to have one.
And President Trump is calling on the UN Security Council to help solve the conflict with North Korea as well, and as well as partnering with China to see how far they can go in stopping this regime. Clayton and Heather.
Hornet's nest. All right. Thanks, Kelly.
Thank you, Kelly.
It's every skier's dream. Deserted, pristine slopes. In many countries, it's just a fantasy, but not here in North Korea. The Masik resort boasts 9 pistes, and the only place you're likely to see a queue is in the nursery area. That's because most visitors are beginners.
At first I was very nervous. I fell several times, but I can now ski by myself with the instructions of the coaches. I feel I should put more efforts into my work in response to the love and consideration of Marshal Kim Jong-un, who has built this Masik ski resort for us.
Completed in 2013, Masik is one of the North Korean leader's pet projects. Officially, it welcomes 70,000 visitors a year. Though some doubt surrounds that figure given the apparent lack of people on the slopes.
Our revered Marshal has bravely decided to build the ski resort. Of course, there are many areas within the country you need to spend money on, but he has spent a lot of money to give this present for the people.
There's little chance that a North Korean skier will make an impact at the Winter Olympics in South Korea next year, but that hasn't stopped people here from thinking big.
I believe skiing in North Korea will further develop. Why would it not develop when our mother party has built this great ski resort? I believe we will overwhelm the world in the future in the ski industry.
Kim Jong-un went to school in Switzerland, and some believe that's what inspired him to commission Masick. But given its niche appeal, it's unlikely